a little bit of pearl. This is Anita's pearl. And I'm also going to use Folk Art French Blue. Why French Blue, you ask? Just because it's the first thing my sweet little fingers touched when I grabbed paint. So that's how it worked out. So you could use any color you want. You can use a purple, you can just use the pearl or the white, or maybe whatever blue you want. Thank you for the sprinkles. So I'm just going to cover my canvas with the pearl. Okay, I'm just going, and I do the sides too, but I'm probably not going to do it here because it takes a little more time. But do take care of your sides. You do want to put some paint on your sides. A lot of times these little canvases, when you get them, are dirty or icky, or they have a little mar on them, especially on the sides or the corners, like right where they're folded in that corner. So you want to make sure and start with a clean slate. So we are going to just put that pearl on our entire canvas. Spread that out. I'm going to do the bottom real quick. Actually, this needs to be the bottom because that is where my fold is. So I want to make sure I do that right. Ugh. Now I got goo on the bottom of my canvas. Let me get that off. And hair. The air's blowing, so it's probably fuzzies from the air. So after I get the whole thing covered with the pearl, I'm just going to dip a tiny bit into my blue, and I'm just gonna kind of scrub some of that blue in. Very random, organic, no rhyme or reason, no specific direction even, just adding. We'll go back a little pearl back over the top, just to give it kind of maybe a little sky color or just a little something interesting for your background, okay? So that's just as simple as that. These two colors are just colors I grabbed up. You don't have to use these colors. Use whatever color you want. Makes me no never mind. Okay, so now the next thing I want to show you is what I'm going to do. Normally I will let this dry, and then I will come in and I'll do my little allure, our little, what am I can't talk today. The antenna for the butterfly. Where's Miss Carolyn when I need somebody to tell me the words to use? Hey, Patsy, how are you? Okay, so I want to do my little antenna. So I'm going to go ahead. This is wet, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I know this is my little butterfly body. So I know he's going to go around in there. I kind of like to have him a little off center. So we want to pop that on your hand so that the air goes to the top. And we're going to make some cute little antenna coming off our butterfly. And then we're going to let that dry. Well, I've already have one that's already dry, so we're just going to set this aside. And that almost looks like ram horns. It's a little thick, but hey, it is what it is. So now we're going to get started on our butterfly. So this little nugget that I showed you earlier, we're going to use that for the body. I'm so glad you're here, Kelly. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a smidge of glue in the two spots that I know he's going to touch. Right here and then right here. That's where he's touching the canvas. And then while that's setting up a little bit, I'm going to show you how I made our butterfly wings, okay? And I can tell you this, there is no good, easy way. You just almost have to, you get what you get. So what I've done is I have pulled out some of these little pieces from where I broke one of these vases. I just took something hard. You can use a hammer. I just wrapped this in this one in a paper towel and just whacked it on the side, and it broke into these pieces. So what I did then is looked at a couple of pictures of butterflies, and you know you want their wing shapes to be like, for instance, you can like get a pattern, and you know you want it to be kind of you know, whatever, kind of like this, the shape of a butterfly wing. So kind of sketch that out maybe. And then you want to start looking for pieces that will work for that. So what I did then was isn't his body fantastic? He's so adorable. So then I just took my cutter, my scoring tool, and kind of shaped out what I wanted. And what you can do, if it makes it easier for you, is use a marker and just kind of make your shape on the inside curve, okay? You want to work on the inside curve of your glass, not the outside curve. And just kind of make whatever shape it is that you're trying to make with a pen. Whoop, just like that. I'll show you that close up. Can you see how I used a marker to kind of create that shape? And now all I'm gonna do is start making my little cuts. So you can't make a 30 or a 90-degree turn or a turn of any kind. You have to make a straight line. And right here on this piece, you can see I have a point. So I'm gonna have to do this line and then this line. So I'm going to just score that right on my line, and then you need to wear gloves. I'm throwing caution to the wind, but because these are so thin, you can then just break it apart, okay? So all you have to do, use your scoring tool, score along your little line, wearing gloves, don't be like me, and just break away from that score. Let me do one more. And that will get the shape, hopefully. I don't think I even did anything to that. That'll give you the shape that you need. So just kind of make your mark. Ugh, that one's a little thicker. So draw your shape on the inside and then just break away your little pieces. If they're a little thicker, then you can use your breaking pliers and just very easily break away all those little nips, okay? You can also, if your glass is thick enough, you can just use your wheeled nippers and just break them away like that. This is too thin for the wheeled nippers, so you need to use this and then just break it away, okay? That's for super thin glass. Use protection, wear your gloves, do not cut yourself, do not be me. I think my fingers are non-cuttable at this point in my life. So that's how you're gonna make your shapes, okay? You're just gonna find something that's conducive to the shape that you want, and then you are going to draw on the inside curve and then flip it over, and then you have your little shape, all right? So I have done that already. So what we're gonna do, I've kind of glued his little cute little thingamajiggy body down. Yes, they would make great flower petals, and that's why even like little bitty pieces, I always keep all these scraps in separate little containers depending on color, because you don't even ever know when, suddenly you need this little teeny tiny piece. So I don't throw nothing away. Okay, so this glass is super thin, and so what we're going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and show you what he's gonna look like. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. So we've got all 4 shapes cut out already, but because this is super thin, I don't really hone this glass unless it's just got a really sharp edge. Because it really, I have not been cut by this at all. Now, if you have a hard point, you might want to hone that down, but this is, it doesn't really cut that easy. But just for safety, you probably should. I'm throwing caution to the wind today. Anytime you cut glass, you should probably hone the edges. So what I'm going to do because this is really thin glass, and I'm gonna need to put resin on the inside and the outside to help it be more stable, I'm gonna just take these off, okay? I'm gonna mix up my resin, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put my resin on this already. Then we'll add these pieces back and add more resin to those. So hang with me. I have already started the resin process pretty much. I have poured 2 ounces of the hardener into this cup. This is art resin, that's what we're gonna use. I've already put 2 ounces of hardener in, so I'm gonna put 2 ounces of resin after I put my gloves on, now that my hands are sticky. And it is not going to even remotely take 2 ounces, so somebody remind me to tell you how much we used, but I have a couple of other things I need to resin, so I thought while I was mixing, I might as well go ahead and mix what I need. So, I'm gonna scoot that aside. I have 2 ounces of hardener already in my cup, so now I'm going to add 2 ounces of resin. Slowly, so I don't mess up. If you are a beginner, you're gonna wanna use 2 cups, not 1, and you'll put 2 ounces in 1 cup, 2 ounces in the other cup, and then pour them together. That way, if you make a boo-boo, you don't have to play the guessing game, because improper mixing is gonna make you cry, because it's never, ever going to harden. Okay, so now I have 4 ounces total of resin. Rima, are you there, babe? You're gonna time me? Okay. So I'm gonna stir my resin. You need to stir this and mix these 2 components together for 3 minutes. So I'm gonna stir, and I'm gonna slowly stir. Judy, ideas for the body is you can use like beads, like a string of beads for the body. You can use little strips of glass. Remember how I showed you guys how to cut vase strips for your octopus and for flowers? You could use something like that just as the body of the I know, I'm not stirring. You could use something like that with for the body of your butterfly. So just about anything that you can, make into a little curved butterfly body. So we're gonna stir for 3 minutes, scraping the sides, scraping across the bottom, slowly and methodically, so we don't incorporate a ton of air bubbles into our resin. So we're doing this one a little different. We're gonna put a little resin on our canvas before we put our glass on. So I'm gonna show you how to make these skinny, thin little pieces a little more sturdy. We're gonna beef them up a little with the resin, so. Rima's on me, man. She's tough. Rima's tough on me. So, hey Carol, glad you're here. Yeah. I am, Michelle. I'm just like thinking, okay, what's next? What's next? What can I do next? What can I do next? So, yes, the icicles for Christmas trees. Yeah, those icicles that you get at Christmas, they come sometimes just like in a little plastic bin, but sometimes they come like as a stringer, like something that is connected. You could use something like that. There's just an unlimited number of things you could use for its body. This just happened to be something that was in my bin, and I was like, OMG, gotta find that purple bulb, a purple ball. Hey Jan, so I can make a purple. I saw that today, Judy. They do. They have one whole aisle of fall, and then on the side they started putting out Christmas. And here's what's funny is the rest of the store is bare. It's like they don't have hardly any paint, they don't have hardly any canvas, they don't have hardly any, like, thank you, thank Rima, Dawn Rima added time because I stopped stirring for a minute, so she's the stir queen. She's gonna make me stir longer. So yeah, their floral department is skimpy, their home decor is skimpy, and we all know why. We all know why their inventory is skimpy, but yes, they are putting Christmas out already. I saw it with my own two eyes today, Michelle. Saw it with my eyes. Thank you, Miss Rima. So what I'm going to do now is, my paint is dry, my little tentacles, not tentacles, what is wrong with me? Lord, what are those called again? Lord, what is wrong with me? Antenna is dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and just drizzle some resin. I'm gonna cover that little glass body really nicely, even though that piece is solid as a rock. I really had to nip hard to break that piece in half. It's pretty solid. But we're gonna cover it anyway, make sure it's got plenty of resin. Then I'm gonna spread. I'm trying to use my stick instead of my fingers because I don't want my fingers terribly sticky yet. So I'm just gonna spread that resin around. Cover my whole canvas. Get in there. And then I'll show you what we're doing next. Hey, Jerry. Yeah, that other spring was 66% off. I went through, I didn't really stay very long because that mask, I couldn't breathe. It was like I was fogging up my glasses and I was so hot already because it's hotter than Hades here, you know, and so I was like, I got to get out of here. But I did kind of peruse it really quickly, and there was absolutely nothing that I wanted in the spring department. So anyway, so here's what I'm gonna do now. So I have my canvas already covered, okay? So now I have my cute little body parts, and I also have this purple glass that came from Michael's, okay? So I am just gonna open up my purple glass, and I am going to just smatter a little bit of this purple onto the resin that's already there. Just like confetti, not too much. Oh my Lord, I don't know how you can live without that. So now here's what helps with your, oh my God, 109. Here's what helps make your little skinny pieces a little sturdier. So what I'm gonna do is just take some resin on the inside curve and on the outside, and I'm gonna cover this entire piece of glass with resin, okay? Top, bottom, inside, outside, all the way. And then I'm gonna lay them down. We're gonna do the same to the other big wing. Just add some resin, and then we're gonna just cover it all over. Underside, top side, 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 inside, outside. And then we're gonna lay it in place. We may shift these around in a minute. We're just gonna get these on here first. We're gonna do that to all 4 of our little pieces. Oh my goodness, Jerry, I bet you can find it online. Okay, check online and see if they have it online. Because I bought 4 containers today. I bought a purple, and I bought 2 champagnes and a blue. So I've covered all 4 of these little pieces, top and bottom, inside, outside, all the sides with resin, okay? So now I'm gonna stick them in place. I'm gonna arrange my little butterfly the way I want it, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is insurance. You got it online, Michelle? I'm in North Mississippi, Shannon, top of the world, top of Mississippi, South Haven, just outside of Memphis. So now what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit more resin on the top side of these glass pieces, especially where I kind of touched them and overlapped and joined them together. And make sure they're stuck down really well. Make sure my edges are covered. And that is just about the end of that. That's all we're gonna do. I'm gonna take these off really quick. 20 colors on clearance. You go, girl. I'm gonna push that aside. Remind me to tell you how much I used. But really quickly, I see a little something on my canvas right there, like a mar or a tear in the canvas. So I'll show you how that works. I'm gonna put a little piece of glass right over the top so that you don't really see that. So we'll add a few more little nuggets of purple glass just to give it a little extra something. And now, let's put the top back on before I spill it, because y'all know I'm a spiller. Now we're gonna hit this baby with a torch, just really quick. You're in Biloxi, you're like, I'm as far north as it gets, and you are as far south, sister. So now I'm going to hit this with my torch to pop any bubbles we have. And hang on, we fire it up. Just remember to keep the flame off your canvas and to keep your hand moving, keep the fire moving at all times. You're basically just trying to pop those bubbles. If you get the flame on your canvas, especially if you pause for any period of time, it's gonna burn that resin, and then it's gonna turn yellow. In about 3 or 4 days, it's gonna start turning yellow in that spot, and you're gonna be sad. So let me stand up and look at him. Make sure I like him. Oh, he is so cute, isn't he? So, look, I'm gonna hold him up. Look how cute. Is he not spectacular? Fly away, butterfly. Okay, how much resin? So I mixed 4 ounces, and I used a little bit less than 1 ounce. I would say you mix 1 ounce for each one of these, because, you know, the more glass you use, sometimes you might use more resin. So, but I'm gonna say it's 1 ounce. I used a little bit less than that. So 1 ounce is good. Look how